Yes, so Hairless here. Today we are back with a VoicePlay patron request. Thank you for this one. This is their newest release. It was released 18 hours ago at the time of recording. I was out all day yesterday. Unfortunately, when this was released, I got back and went straight to bed. It's just about the afternoon of the following day for me, so let's go ahead and do this. This is Thriller. Thriller doesn't need any introduction, I'm sure, other than it scared me very much when I was very young. I just remember being scared by it. I probably didn't watch the whole video. I probably ran out of the room after about 5 seconds. I do remember seeing it and thinking it was like a feature-length film in my mind. But back then I did think that every single music video was the same length as a film. Who knows why. Anyway, I digress. The lineup, it's featuring J Nunn. Let's get straight into it.
Thriller, thriller,
interesting second chord.
Thriller, thriller. I'm gonna thrill you tonight. I'm gonna thrill you tonight. I'm gonna thrill you tonight. It's close to midnight, and something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed. You hear the door slam and realize there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination. Yeah. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind. You're out of time. Cause this is thriller night. And no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's thriller night.
You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight.
The highlight, 100% for me, is amazing. Amazing. Lane absolutely yeets that zombie into the patty cake studio's wall. I'm going to put a little Lion King gif thing that this reminds me of. Relevant because my last reaction was Be Prepared from the Lion King. If you haven't seen that, go check it out, card up here. But it's too late. Lane is infected. Alright, first pause. If you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. Let's start with the key, the original VoicePlay. A tiny bit lower, understandable, because Michael Jackson had a crazy, naturally high voice. Impressive that they're actually not doing it even lower. I paused after 2 seconds because immediately we get a harmony change. They open with the most iconic part of the song. I think it's J Nunn there, and his part. But it's the second note that really stands out to me. These are the chords in the original song. These are the chords transposed into VoicePlay's key. These are VoicePlay's chords. It's only a one note change. I don't know why, but I can't stress how much that stood out to me. What's happened is the chords go like this. This is the first chord, and then the second chord, E flat. J Nunn's note is this F here, note number 2, otherwise known as the supertonic. So it's not the hugest of changes, probably quite subtle, but definitely enough to change the sound. It's more obvious because they decide to open with Thriller. The original song doesn't have this. The original video is like a proper video with a non-musical opening. It sort of fades into the music. All right, a few more seconds in, and we had this very demonic cackling in the background.
I'm gonna thrill you tonight.
But in the foreground, we have this unison line, and then a clash, and then
I'm gonna thrill you tonight.
A full standard chord, and they're all happening above Jeff. Jeff's quick notes. Just staying on that note. That note is a C, which is the tonic. It's the root note. The overall key is C minor. And then things kind of open up. We get this ooh accompaniment like we often see, but it's a nice choice to have the bass part in Jeff kind of being the most interesting rhythmically because of this.
It's close to midnight, and something evil's lurking in the dark.
The melody, of course, is the melody. It has lyrics and rhythm. J-Non, hello, he was on a mad one with these descending runs.
Your heart, you try to scream,
and he did another one just after that as well.
make it,
Oh, okay. And VoicePlay, of course, are doing their classic rhythmic manipulation. This bit I'm about to play, you'll see how it's delayed against the melody.
You try to scream, but it takes.
When Ellie takes over for the next line, on the word freeze, it's not a delayed copy per se.
You start to freeze.
Now it's in contrary motion moving up when he moved down, and also with equal rhythms, free, ease instead of free ease. So it's the same idea of a delayed repetition, reinforcing the idea of the melody, but a different execution.
Looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed.
Funky, juicy, scrunchy chords now. Nice chromatic lines in there as well that really contribute to this scrunch. To me, it sounds like Lane has this line that goes.
As horror looks you right between the eyes.
Lane has a very distinctive timbre to his voice. I could be wrong, it could be J-Non for example, but I hear Lane there, even though he does have a subtle percussion role at this moment as well. But yeah, juicy chords, and they're teasing us after Paralyzed. I thought we'd get Thriller, but no, temporarily Paralyzed, and we move into the next verse. And in fairness, that's completely on me. The original doesn't go into the chorus at that point. It's just the way the music is and the way it builds up to the chorus, which is so famous.
You feel the cold, and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just
Other beatboxers out there, take notes. Get bitten by a zombie, because it brings out more beats apparently. That's what's happened here. Lane's up to the beatboxing and in typical VoicePlay style. As well as that, the accompanying parts are becoming more fluid. Fluid is the word I'm going to use because they do loads of things. They do the repeating of the melody that we so often see, but also
and hope that this is just imagination.
They still have oohs in between the repeats. The harmonies, they're remaining fairly consistently scrunchy. Whose arrangement is it again? Ah, Jeff. Yeah, okay. And then there was an interesting technologically induced moment, like a little Euro dance moment. It was like it was preparing for a drop or something. And what a freeze frame that is. Lane has started off the infections. Poor Caesar, so innocent, didn't deserve it. With this Eurodance moment, we get this chord. A repeated chord, which is a dominant 7th chord. This means that the next chord we'd expect would be 5 notes lower, which it does, as that is the root chord, as we said before, C minor. This time, though, the chord is standard, not like right at the beginning with that added note in there that I was talking about. And because of that, instead of harmonic changes, the changes are mostly kind of stylistically now, again, particularly with the rhythms. Okay, let's carry on. Caesar's just been infected, so 2 out of the 5, I believe, are zombies.
For your life inside a killer thriller tonight. To get you, there's demons closing in on every side. They will possess you unless you change that number on your dial.
Now is the time for you and I to cuddle close together. together. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. All through the night, I'll save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller, Thriller night. 'Cause I can thrill you more than any cool would ever dare try. Thriller, Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer, thriller, killer, thriller, killer, thriller tonight.
Darkness falls across.
Whoa, they have gone full out with the makeup this time, huh? That's really cool, really cool. And was that a carrot? Cool heartbeat effect in the background that we get occasionally, just like there.
So let me hold you tight and share a...
That's a carrot, isn't it? People let me know of the running joke with Lane and carrots that I was completely unaware of in the Hall of a Mountain King reaction, I believe, and Classical Chaos too. I think that's a really nice... The more I look at it, the more ridiculous it is. Really good makeup though, isn't it? Wow. I feel like that's what I look like in the morning when you're feeling all dry and can't get out of bed. And freezing, because now the weather is starting to get freezing. Alright, there were some bits that I'd like to go over from that kind of middle section. So I'm going to play a bit again, because I wasn't quite sure of it. I have just had a listen once more, and it's already grown on me. So I'm going to have a listen again.
Night creatures calling the dead start to walk in their masquerade. There's no escaping.
Yeah, I like it more now because of its function. That section, it's a slight melodic variation of the original song. The harmonies overall are simple. We do have some non-standard attributes in there, such as this 4/3 suspension.
Night creatures calling the dead start to walk.
The chord is F and note 4 and 3 are alternating. 4, 3. And then we get this chord, and Ellie really leans into this note here, causing this clash. So it's a nice build up, essentially. There's nothing too crazy, some nice things in there, and it's building up to this bit, which I do really like, and that's Jeff sinking right down. Everything changes green to red, and you'll also notice the beat in Lane becomes a little bit less consistent now.
There's no escaping the jaws of the end in this time.
It's because the meter has changed, the rhythmic structure has been manipulated by VoicePlay. They, the masters of rhythm as I like to call them, love this rhythmic manipulation. The meter, or the time signature, depending how you know it, it's not actually changed, but it feels like it has.
The dead start to walk in their masquerade.
So we are still in 1, 2, 3, 4, but we have multiple hemiolas consecutively. Hemiolas, if we remember from my other videos, is where you have 3 beats played in the space of 2 usually. So instead of 1, 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
There's no escaping the jaws of the end in this time.
However, instead of straight cha-cha-cha rhythms, they use ba-bum, ba-bum, ba, a bit more jumpy, lilty. So they've done a rhythmic change by using these hemiolas, and then they've done another change on top of it. This, for me as well, is kind of the climax of things musically speaking. It has everything. It has scrunchy, funky harmonies, the crazy bass and beats that really, really complement each other. They kind of have to. Temporary moments of homophony versus not.
There's no escaping the jaws of the end in this time. This is the end.
And then, of course, Ellie going up to that E flat up there.
This is the end of your life.
Of course, him being Ellie in true rock Ellie style is doing it with this blended voice power. Alas, even that top E flat will not save him from the jaws, literally the jaws, of Caesar and Lane.
They're out to get.
And then this bit, angelic almost, like a remembrance for the fallen. I love Jeff's reaction to Ellie being taken, but then I love Janon's reaction to Jeff essentially dying.
Possess you unless you change that number on your dial.
Now is the time.
this look. It's more of a, alright, you're a bit weird, rather than an, oh, golly gosh, my friend has just died. So this bit I'm about to play, it's a build up. We'll get to that in a second. But there are very, very tight harmonies in the background. There's this subtle movement of a part here or a part there. They give a notion of movement, but overall the sound is just really consistent, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's building up.
I'll save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller.
Boom. Creepy Jeff rises up. The beat is removed for this massive homophonic moment on the iconic chorus, Thriller. They've had fun with rhythms, as they always do, as we've seen, and we've spoken about a few examples. It's now time for them to change the harmony again.
That this is Thriller, Thriller night.
This time round, the bass is very powerful. It sounds really synthetic, and this added power, I feel it emphasizes the fact that the bass now doesn't move. It did move before. It doesn't now. Before it went on the first two chords, but now
that this is Thriller.
What that does, let's just say that the lowest note here is the bass part. Instead of going from there to there on the first two chords, we go from to. For those of you with an astute eye, you'll notice that the C minor has remained now for the second chord. C minor, as we said earlier, is the home key, so we're more rooted in this because Jeff is staying on that lowest note, the C. They also don't have that funky note I pointed out at the beginning to keep this chord kind of simple. And the last chord of that phrase on night,
Thriller, Thriller night.
also different again because of Jeff's part. Okay, let's carry on.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell.
Thriller night. Oh, it's Thriller night.
The foulest stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver.
Oh, full part,
For no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
I'm gonna do it now. Thriller night. Girl, I can tell you more than any cool. Thriller, Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer, thriller, killer, thriller, killer, thriller
Well, no denying that was a really, really cool one. All things considered, the video, the makeup, even like kind of how silly in a way the story was. It was just very, very fun. We'll go over some final things there. I don't need to say anything about Jeff for that whole last section. He's perfect for the role. I really, really liked the ooze in the background.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour.
There are a couple of parts in there that are especially rhythmic. Dum, dum, dum. On the offbeats, and because of the ooh sound, you don't have any consonants when you change notes like you would bum bum bum. You've got the b. So whilst the changes are still rhythmic, ooh ooh ooh, they're just so much more subtle, and it kind of creates a swelling effect. That's because the other oohs in the background are just constant. If you're doing an arrangement and you have some oohs in the background and you're wondering what to do with them, watch VoicePlay's videos because they've done everything there is to do with them. This was my first time really hearing, and I mean like really hearing, J-Nun having a solo using a blended voice.
Oh, it's Thriller night.
I mean, quite a bit of head in there, but yeah, really, really smooth. With this whole last section with Jeff's part.
Tomb are closing in to seal your
I think it's cool how they just fully embraced Jeff's low speech. Instead of making it more like singing, this is still kind of melodic, classic speech singing as I call it, but it's very much to the effect of speaking rather than singing. This also makes any musical ideas we get, such as this.
And though you fight to stay alive,
in the background, a new musical idea, it makes them stand out a bit more. And to finish up, I mean, if this is what being a zombie entails. A bit of singing, a bit of dancing, a bit of doing the classic MJ. There are honestly worse places to be than that. Well, there we go, Thriller. VoicePlay. Iconic song, their second Michael Jackson song in recent times. I can tell they had fun with this one. It must have been quite daunting to do a song with such an iconic original video, and the video is a huge part of it. Only half of the video is actually the music itself. Quite strange as far as music videos for songs go, especially probably back then when it first came out. I enjoyed it, really impressed as usual with the set, the makeup, and the little story they made out of it. Thank you again for this request, and thank you to everyone as always for watching. Would appreciate a like and a subscribe. Please comment down below, it helps the algorithm, and if you'd like to support me, the best way is by joining the Patreon linked on the screen or buy me a coffee down below, and I will see you next time.